Hello everyone, welcome back to online lecture series on engineering thermodynamics. We are continuing our topic of vapor power cycle. We will revisit our few topics. We began in our last lecture with Carnot cycle, which is the basic thermodynamic cycle. It contains necessarily four parts: boiler, turbine, condenser and compressor. Here, these are PV and TS diagrams of the same cycle, and it contains four processes. First is isothermal expansion, which is happening in boiler. Second is isentropic expansion, that is in turbine. Then again isothermal compression in condenser, and the last one is isentropic compression in compressor. So here in our last lecture we derived the efficiency of Carnot cycle. The next was limitations of Carnot cycle that we have studied. After that we began Rankine cycle, that is more practical cycle which is applicable in real life. So here the only difference is, instead of compressor that was present in case of Carnot cycle, here we are having a pump. For the steam boiler, here it is a constant reversible constant pressure heating process is there. Previously it was isothermal heat addition. Instead of that we are having constant pressure heat addition. The remaining things are same, and here also in condenser it will be isobaric, that is constant pressure heat rejection. And then we studied about PV, TS and HS diagram in detail for the Rankine cycle, and we applied the steady flow energy equation for four components. The efficiency is given by W net upon Q1. And this is the definition of steam rate, that it is 1 divided by Wt minus Wp. And the next is the definition of heat rate, that is 3600 Q1 divided by Wt minus Wp, and it is also given by 3600 divided by eta cycle. Now the losses in actual vapor cycle. Here there are piping losses, that is the pressure drop due to friction and heat loss. Second is turbine losses, for which we defined the isentropic efficiency of turbine. Then pump losses and condenser losses. Now today we are beginning a new topic, that is comparison of Rankine and Carnot cycle. So let's begin. So these are the TS diagrams for various kinds of comparison between these two cycles. So if you see, then the basic difference that you can see in this TS diagram, that for Carnot cycle it will be a kind of a rectangle. And in case of Rankine cycle it will be like this. Okay, that will be the basic difference between this will be for Carnot and this will be for Rankine. And now we will see their difference one by one in detail. So here the reversible adiabatic expansion in turbine, that is this process. The next is the constant temperature heat rejection in condenser, that is over here. And the reversible adiabatic compression in the pump, that is over here. These are similar features between both cycles. So if you see both the diagrams together, then these three processes are same. But the only difference which is coming is the heat addition process in Rankine cycle is reversible isobaric, and in Carnot cycle it is isentropic. So here this will be the meaning of isobaric over here is actually nothing but constant pressure. Okay, there is one more correction which I need to do. That is, in Carnot cycle it is isothermal process, that is constant temperature. Now let's first focus on figure A and C. So if we focus on A and C, then Q2 is same in the both cycles, that is the value of 223 is same in both cycles. But here Q1 is more, that is this portion that is being added, this value if you see, that is here Q1 value, that is the heat addition value, is more. That's why the Carnot efficiency is more than the Rankine efficiency. So now if we see the two cycles, that is A and B, in this case for A and B both are having same thermal efficiency, that is A and B are having same value of thermal efficiency. But here also we can see that eta Carnot is greater than the eta Rankine, because the fundamental difference is this, that is the standard formula is eta is equal to Q1 minus Q2 divided by Q1. That is, here if we again focus on this statement, if we again focus, then for A and C, for figure A and C, here I also need to add that the nomenclature is missing over here, that here we are having this process will be A and this process will be B. Sorry, this figure is A and this figure is B. So here if we are currently focusing these two, then the heat addition process Q1 is more for Rankine cycle, that is, we need to provide more heat in case of Rankine cycle. That's why the denominator is greater in case of Rankine cycle, as heat addition is more in Rankine cycle, so efficiency of Carnot cycle is more. Now let's focus on the second statement here. That in case of A and B, let's compare this two now. That here both Carnot cycles are having same thermal efficiency, but here also eta Carnot is greater than the eta Rankine cycle because of that heat addition process value. But the Carnot cycle cannot be realized in practice. The Carnot cycle cannot be realized in practice because the pump work is very large in case of Carnot. Why? Because here if you focus on this portion, that is 3 to 4C, and if you compare this pump work with Rankine cycle's pump work, then Rankine is having much lesser work for pump and Carnot is having very huge pump work, so it cannot be realized in practice. Now here also one more thing, that in A and C, that is in figure A and C, it is impossible to heat add at infinite pressures and constant temperature from state 4C to 1. That is, this is in A and C, this value, that constant pressure heat addition is very difficult. That is this red highlighted heat addition process. And if you see in this figure, it is still possible because this is purely a phase change process which is happening at constant temperature. But in case of this case and this case, here it is the heat addition is happening at infinite pressures and at constant temperature, which is impossible. And in case of figure B, that is, it is difficult to control the quality at 3C, that is over here, this value. because we need to complete our Carnot cycle within this region. So it is difficult to control this quality at 3C. So the isentropic compression leads to saturated liquid state. So here we cannot reach up to 0.3 in this figure. So these are the comparisons of Carnot and Rankine cycle. Now our next theory is mean temperature heat addition. So here in case of Rankine cycle, as we have seen that the heat is added reversibly at constant pressure, but infinite temperatures, that is the temperature keeps on changing. That is we are currently discussing about this portion. The heat is added reversibly at constant pressure but at infinite temperatures. So the temperature is completely variable during this heat addition process. So let us say that we are having a common temperature Tm1, that is if we focus on this portion, that is this 5 to 6, this is the mean temperature Tm1. If Tm1 is mean temperature of heat addition, so that the area under 4s and 1, that is for this red curve, is equal to the area under 5 to 6. So what we have tried over here, that we have tried to replace the Rankine cycle's heat addition process 4s to 1, that is over here to here, with an isothermal heat addition similar to a Carnot cycle, so that the area under both the curve and line will be same, that is the heat addition will be equal. So here Q1, that is over here, is H1 minus H4s, that is for our standard Rankine cycle, and here we are having Tm1 S1 minus S4s, that is our standard formula. And similarly here we are getting Tm1 as H1 minus H4s divided by S1 minus S4s, which is equal to mean temperature heat addition. Now Q2 is equal to heat rejected, that is same in both cases, that is H2s minus H3. So the heat rejection process is same. Now eta Rankine is equal to 1 minus Q2 by Q1, that is equal to 1 minus the value of Q2 and value of Q1 over here. So here S1 minus S4S, this will be same in both cases, because this is the entropy difference that we are having over here. This is the value of delta S. And here this has to be T2. T2 is temperature of heat rejection. The lower the value of T2 for a given Tm1, higher will be the efficiency, because this is the negative and in numerator T2 is there. So lower the value of T2 for a given Tm1, the efficiency will be more. But the lowest temperature that is possible for heat rejection is temperature of surrounding, that is T0. So there is a limit on T2. So now Rankine cycle is now function of mean temperature of heat addition only. The higher the mean temperature of heat addition, the higher will be the efficiency, because it is on the negative and in the denominator. So higher the value of Tm1, the greater the value of eta Rankine. Now there are some effects that we are going to see for the Rankine cycle one by one. So first our effect is the effect of increasing the initial temperature at constant pressure on cycle efficiency. So that can be seen in the figure. So we are going to increase the temperature value. So when the initial state changes from 1 to 1 prime, that is from this point to this point. Okay, so that is going to be the difference. Here Tm1 between 4s to 1 prime, that is let us say this to be denoted as T1m prime, because we are going from 4s to 1 prime, that will be Tm1 prime, let us say, and for our previous cycle, that was the standard cycle, we were going from 4s to only 1, that is over here. So this is only Tm1 for this. So obviously Tm1 prime is higher than the Tm1. So an increase in superheat at constant pressure increases the mean temperature of heat addition, and hence the cycle efficiency is also increasing. So here now we are going to see the maximum temperature of heat, maximum temperature of steam. Now this is fixed from the metallurgical conditions, because the material that we are using for our turbine blades, is having some maximum limit that it can tolerate or sustain. So that is the maximum temperature of steam is fixed because of this. Now when the maximum temperature is fixed, that is because of metallurgical condition, that is, let us say over here it is this, we cannot go beyond this. So this is the value of Tmax. Now we are going to see our next effect, that is the effect of increase of pressure on Rankine cycle. So we will see that what will be the effect of increasing the pressure. And let us say that here the operating steam pressure at which the heat is added is increased from P1 to P2. That is, you can see here that we have taken two different cases. Previously it was P1 pressure and now it is P2 pressure. So in case of previous P1 pressure, here the maximum temperature point is T1 and in P2 it is T5. However, both are equal, that is T maximum. So here the mean temperature of heat addition increases. The mean temperature of heat addition increases because Tm1 is between 7s and 5. That is, we are going from 7s to 5. And the next is 4s to 1. So you can clearly see that the mean temperature of heat addition is more in case of the later improved pressure, that is higher pressure, that is Tm1 between 7s and 5 is more than 4s and 1. But when the turbine inlet pressure increases from P1 to P2, the ideal expansion line shifts to left, that is, this is the new expansion process, and previously it was this. Okay, so as you can see, there is a shift of expansion process towards left. and the moisture content at turbine exhaust increases. Why? Because as you can see that the value of the moisture content at 6s is more than 2s, because now we are slightly inside the wet region, that is liquid plus vapor region. Now if the moisture content of steam in later stages of turbine is higher, then the entrained water particles along with vapor coming out of nozzle with high velocity strikes the blade and erode their surfaces, as a result of which the longevity of blades decreases. So what they are trying to say over here is, if we go more into left hand side, that is on this side, and how we are going in this side, because of the moisture content which is present. So this moisture content will have negative effects on the blade material, because they will erode the material of blade. So here, even though we can increase the efficiency by increasing the mean temperature of heat addition by with the help of higher pressure, but on the other side it will increase the moisture content, which reduces the blade life. So there is also one another limitation coming over here. And there is a limit up to which we can tolerate the moisture content at the exhaust, that is from the consideration of erosion of blades in later stages of the turbine. The moisture content at turbine exhaust is not allowed to exceed the 15%, that is x, the the minimum x that we can tolerate is 0.85, that is the moisture content should not be more than 15%. Therefore the maximum steam temperature at the turbine inlet, that is this is fixed because of the material considerations of turbine blade. The minimum temperature of heat rejection, that is in extreme cases it has to be the surrounding temperature, and the minimum quality of steam at the turbine exhaust is fixed, because this is now it should not be more than less than 0.85. This limit is also fixed. So the maximum steam pressure at the turbine inlet also gets fixed. So now this is also fixed. A vertical line drawn from 2s fixed by T2 and x2x intersects with T maximum, that is over here. So if we draw this vertical line, and this maximum pressure line, with the T maximum, so we are intersecting this horizontal line, that is T max, and this vertical line, then we will get this point, which is nothing but gives the maximum steam pressure at the turbine inlet, that is this is obtained. Here the irreversibilities in expansion process is however not being considered, that is the meaning is that actual process will be something like this, that we have seen in our previous lecture. Now our next topic is reheat cycle. So suppose here if a steam pressure higher than P1 maximum is used, in order to limit the quality at to 0.85 at the turbine exhaust, reheat has to be adopted. So this is the new thing that, or the modification that we are making, the first type of modification in our standard Rankine cycle. So here first of all let us see how it is functioning. So let's focus on this figure. So what is exactly the reheat? So here we are not having boiler, but we are also having a reheater over here. So what we are doing that from here, instead of the only difference which is coming is the reheater, as well as instead of one turbine, now we are having two turbines, that is HP turbine and LP turbine. HP means high pressure turbine and LP means low pressure turbine. So this steam after boiler, it is going into the steam is going into the high pressure turbine, and once it expands in this high pressure turbine, the steam is taken into reheater, where it is again heated, and this is done at pressure P3, and it is then sent to the LP turbine, where again it is further expanded, and then it is going into our condenser and the usual way into pump, and then again into boiler. So the only difference which is coming here is the division of expansion process with in between addition of heat, that is done in the reheater. So that's the things which are there in the reheat cycle. In that case, all the steam after partial expansion in the turbine, that is HP turbine, is brought back to the boiler. So this statement is present over here in this figure, that after partial expansion it is sent back into the boiler or reheater. Reheated by combustion gases and then fed back to low pressure turbine for further expansion, that is over here. And this is the TS diagram for this. So if we see, our usual cycle could have been this. This was our previous cycle, and the things that we have changed during reheat is this. So this is the addition that we have done. Here, the expansion of steam from initial state 1 to condenser pressure is carried out in 2 or more steps depending on the number of reheats that are used. In first step, the steam expands in the high pressure turbine, that is from 1 to 2s, that is over here. From the initial state to approximately saturated vapor line over here at point 2s. The steam is then reheated at constant pressure. The reheating process is this, that is from 2s to 3. In the boiler, and the remaining expansion is carried out in the low pressure turbine, that is over here. Okay, so this is the way we are having the use of reheat. So you can see there are two expansions which are happening, that is from 1 to 2s. So let me write down over here. Expansion is done in two ways. First is 1 to 2s, and then it is happening from 3 to 4s. Then the heat addition. Heat addition is also happening in two different processes, that is, as you can see, from 6s to 1. And second is 2s So the same figure is drawn over here that was present in the previous slide. Now we will see the efficiency of reheat cycle. For 1 kg of steam, Q1 is H1 minus H6S. That is this addition. This is our first addition process, and second is H3 minus H2S, that is over here. Second is Q2, that is H4S minus H5. That is the rejection process, and here it is this. Now WT, that is H1 minus H2S, that is the work output. That is the first portion is this. H1 minus H2S, and the next portion is H3 minus H4S. That is over here. So this is one more work output that is happening. Now WP is H6 minus H5, that is over here. Now eta, that is WT minus WP upon Q1. So we can combine this WT minus WP divided by Q1. So we have combined everything over here. And now the value of steam rate, that is the steam rate is given by 3600 divided by this value, that is we have taken this whole value over here. If you recall, the value of steam rate was actually 3600 divided by WT minus WP, okay, where the enthalpy is in kilojoule per kg. By increasing the number of reheats, that is we could increase the number of reheats like this, that is over in this way. This is the one reheat over here, that is this is the one reheat that we have added. We can also add another reheat, that is second, then third, in this way. That is we can, here we are having only one reheat which is happening between 2s to 3, but we can add more reheats. So by increasing the number of reheats, still higher steam pressures could be used, but theoretically mechanical stresses also increases at a higher proportion than the increase in pressure. So suppose we take two things, that increase in pressure and second is increase in mechanical stresses. So here our objective with more number of reheats is to increase the pressure, but the rate at which the pressure is increasing and the benefits are obtained are lower than the rise in the mechanical stresses. So the mechanical stresses are more dominating while we increase the number of reheats. So we cannot get the benefits of higher pressure in this case, and here because of prevailing high temperature. So it is not possible that at our wish we keep on increasing the number of reheats. There is also a limit because of the mechanical stresses. And here the cost and the fabrication difficulties also increases in such case where we are increasing the number of reheats. Now our next theory, that is the second type of modification in Rankine cycle, is regenerative cycle. So this is the figure for regenerative cycle. Okay, one thing which we have missed over here is the understanding of HS diagram. So let's try to understand this. That here in case of HS diagram, we have already seen the TS diagram, and HS diagram is not that different. The only difference that is there is here in case of HS diagram we don't see this kind of horizontal line because the heat addition process is continuously the process of increasing enthalpy and increasing entropy. So we are observing a rising curve over here. Okay, and here this expansion process is same in both the diagrams. That is a vertical line because the enthalpy is remaining, the entropy is remaining constant and enthalpy is decreasing. That is happening in high pressure turbine as well as in the low pressure turbine. So there is no much difference between the expansion lines. Now again here also we are having heat addition, which looks also similar in both because both are in superheat region, so there is no difference present over here. Now the way there was a difference between in the heat addition process, there is a difference between heat rejection process. In case of TS diagram it was purely horizontal because it is a isothermal process and we are having TS diagram. So this is the horizontal curve which we are seeing. In case of the Rankine cycle, it is, sorry, in case of HS diagram, it is this kind of decreasing enthalpy curve, that is with negative slope. That is, here both enthalpy as well as entropy are decreasing in the part of condenser. And one more thing, that here the pumping process is having same kind of trend in TS and HS diagram, because it is isentropic process. So here one more thing which we should discuss is that here the work output is increasing, because if we see our standard formula, eta is equal to W net upon Q1. That is, the work output is increasing because now we are having two expansions, and the heat input is also increasing. Why heat input is increasing? Because it was previously only in boiler, but now we are having reheat. So it is obvious that in case of when we adopt the reheat cycle, the net work output will surely increase, but still we cannot directly comment on the efficiency, that whether efficiency will increase or decrease, because it also depends on the value of total Q which is there, that is heat addition. Because in this case, if we see mathematically, this is increasing, that is W net is also increasing, at the same time the heat addition is also increasing. So this is slightly we need to check with the examples, that for which particular values we can obtain a rise in efficiency in case of reheat cycle. So our next topic is regenerative cycle, that will be discussed in our next lecture. So in our today's lecture, we began with comparison of Rankine and Carnot cycle. Then we studied about mean temperature heat addition, and we obtained that the efficiency of Rankine cycle is function of mean temperature of heat addition only. Then we studied the effect of increasing the initial temperature, the maximum temperature of steam, the maximum pressure that can be obtained. The next theory was reheat cycle, in which we are having two separate turbines for expansion and we are sending the steam in between into the reheater. We obtained the value of efficiency and steam rate in this case, and here also we understood that we cannot increase the number of reheats as per our wish, because there are some limitations because of the mechanical stresses and fabrication difficulties with cost. So here, this is the end of today's lecture, and we will continue this topic in our next lecture. Thank you for watching this video.